it's a bit like Britain in the 30s. There's massive disagreement. There's a kind of war party and they're saying, we've got to do this or else, it's going to lead to disaster. And there are others who say, oh, I'm not sure about that. And so these disagreements in Rome absolutely pin the blame for any conflict on the Carthaginians.
Right.
So the Roman embassy goes to Carthage and they arrive there, but they're Romans. They're not really there to negotiate. And their starting demand is so obviously impossible that effectively they're wasting their breath. And the starting demand is that Hannibal should be surrendered to the Romans. And there's no way that the Carthaginians are going to do this. Even Hannibal's bitterest enemies can recognize that if they hand over the guy who's in charge of Carthaginian Spain, that will be the end of Spain. The Romans will move in, no question.
Yeah, of course.
And so negotiations go nowhere. And the leading Roman ambassador, he stands up, a very famous scene, and I'll quote a Roman source that describes it. He pointed to the bosom of his toga and declared to the Carthaginian Senate that in its folds he carried both peace and war, and that he would let fall from it whichever they instructed him to leave. And when the envoy replied that it would be war, many of the senators, so those are the Carthaginians, shouted at once, "We accept it." It was on these terms that the Senate and the Roman ambassadors parted.
So, the storm clouds of war have not merely gathered, Tom. The storm is underway.
Yeah, as Chris Morris would say, it's war.